Welcome. My name is Jeff. I'm going to walk you through using Network for Good for Sinclair Health Clinic. And we're going to start right here on the home page for the login. You'll have your login, and let's go ahead and click Next. It will scroll you into the software. It takes a little bit of time. But while we do this, what we're going to work on today is adding a new contact to Network for Good. So we'll be working on that. So here we are at the dashboard. You'll always arrive here. You want to come over to the Contacts section here and click Contacts. When you get into Contacts, and here we are, you'll see a list of our different contacts, and you can filter and do all kinds of things. We're not going to get into that today. We're just going to add a new contact. I'm going to add a new contact, Mr. and Mrs. Donald Duck, to our records. So I always start by seeing if Mr. and Mrs. Duck are already in our system. So let's do that just by typing in the last name in the search bar. I have Robert and Lita. I have James that has Duck in the name but is not a duck, but there is no Donald Duck. Mr. and Mrs. Donald Duck. So always want to check there. We don't want duplicates, but if you make them in the system will flag you and ask you if it's a duplicate. So let's go to this button up here, which is Add a Contact. If it was Duck Enterprises, we would add it as an organization, but it's Mr. and Mrs. Donald Duck, so we're going to do that. Okay. And in our full name, this is what we're going to write. Mr. period. This is the style, ampersand for and, Mrs. Donald, let's just say his middle initial is Q, for quack, Duck. Okay. Donald does not currently have a primary email, but if he does, we would. The mobile phone, I will just put, just so I'll show you, I'm going to put it as mine. And let's see if the system flags it as we move along. Home phone, address. Let's put him at 301 Swamp Lane in McLean, Virginia. Here's one of the things I like. You begin typing it in. If it pops up in this list, select it because this is approved UPS code, what pops up here. So let's just do Swamp Trail in McLean, Great Falls. Okay. If you have a photo, you can add it. I would definitely like to do gender for this because we put Donald in. I'm going to put male. Month and year, we usually don't do that. Employer, it really only matters. Let's just call him CEO. He's part of Duck Industries, and his job title is CEO. And if he has a work email, you would do it there, but he doesn't have one, work phone, all the other things, okay? Here's the most important thing, adding to groups, okay? It may have come in as a donation, and if it's a donation, you want to check the box. But there's no donation here. We're just adding him to the record. So let's make sure that we add him to our email newsletter list if there is one. So he doesn't have an email, so we won't do that either. But if we did, that's what we would do. Let's just, for the sake of argument, do it here. Okay. So any of the other things that they would tag it. This is the way that we'll be able to send things to him via the internet and other pieces. So now we're going to hit save and exit. Let's check the address to make sure that it's validated. All the things that we're working on here. Let's edit the address and see what's going on. Great Falls, Virginia. I'm going to go up and edit and see what's going on with this address, okay? I'm back in the record, and we're going to look here. It says that it's cool, but for some reason, it's not enjoying it. Update and save. Let's see if that gets rid of there. It has been updated and all the issues have been resolved. Okay, so you're not finished here. Up here, you'll see Manage Household for Donald. This really matters. So really pay attention to this piece because All the auto population for any of our printed letters or what goes into emails is taken out of this set of fields. Okay, it defaults to the Duck household, but that's not the style we use. Again, we use Mr. ampersand because that's the style. Mrs. Donald Q. Duck. We copy this, although there are lots of stylistic ways to do it. There are households and formal and everything else. This is the way we do it. Household and formal are matched. For informal, this is their first names. So let's say he goes by Don, no ampersand here, and I can't remember Donald Duck's girlfriend's name. So let's just call her Cindy. Don and Cindy Duck, right? So again, on a letter, if I'm going to say dear and then do a merge field and ask it to put in the informal greeting, it will say Dear Don and Cindy. Or if I'm going to ask in the merge field for it to put in the formal greeting for the household, it will say Dear Mr. and Mrs. Donald Q. Duck. Or if I'm going to put on the envelope a merge field just for the household, it will default to Mr. and Mrs. Donald Q. Duck. That's why it's so important. It's really important that you do this. Update and save. Now you've updated all of it. Okay, so now we're going to go down and take a look at what we've created. If they have a donation, we can add it here. If there are tasks that we need to work on or any kind of communications, we can add it here. We can see in the groups that we've added him to the email news list. Relationships. I can add Cindy Duck and add her as a spouse. We'll get into that later. Most importantly, I'd like to add some notes. So here's the thing. If this was sent to you, let's say by our executive director, Katrina, Katrina sent contact info via email 9/2021 set up by, and then your initials, JTS or mine. Okay, 2021. All right, if there were attachments that I wanted to choose, let's say I could, for the sake of argument, I'll add that. It's already in here, add the note. Okay. So again, in the notes, you'll see all this down here, including being able to pull up the document that we've just done. It was actually download for you. That's how you do it. So now we can go back to contacts and let's check our work. It's always good for you to check your work when you're done. Again, I'm going to enter in Duck, and Mr. and Mrs. Donald Q. Duck show up right here. There they are. If I look at the household again, I can see Mr. and Mrs. Donald Q. Duck, Don and Cindy. Okay, I'm going to cancel that and go back out to the record. And if I need to edit the household or add anything else to it, I'll do it right here. But I really don't. I'm going to either hit update or save, but I didn't change anything, so I'm going to hit cancel. And I'm back here. And again, from here, from the contact record, you can do everything you need to do, right? Send a personal email, add donation, add tasks for you or other members of the team. Remember, there's only one login, so if you're adding tasks, no one's getting them. So go into to-do in the Outlook format and add tasks or things to the to-do lists. That's the way you do it. If you have questions, give Jeff a holler. That's me via email or just pop in and ask me, and we'll go through it together. Thanks so much, and happy entering.